everyone's standing around in the boarded up in the US, all the boarded up windows, because apparently Trump supporters, you're kidding me, we're going to riot. Should Trump have won the election cleanly a couple of days ago? Well, of course, it all could still happen again, should the Bronwyn model happen. But, of course, it looked pretty good for Biden tonight, right? So you've had 2 days in the United States where things haven't really got out of control, except in a couple of places. And who do you think was behind the violence? Do you think it was the Trump supporters or the people who have said up front, they don't care team red, team blue, they hate team red, white and blue? Andy Ngo is the man who's on the ground. We talked to him a bit earlier in the week about particularly the lunacy in Portland, where yesterday, one of the things that they passed, not only did they vote for Biden for president, blue everywhere, they decided it will now be completely legal to have on your person heroin, hard drugs, right? So this is super lefty land, okay? Yet still they riot.
The election night was relatively subdued, even though there was a lot of harassment of people at their homes and drivers and such. But there wasn't the mass violence that was predicted by myself and others. However, tonight, as of a few hours ago, there was mass violence in downtown. I call it a march of terror. A group of several hundred marauding militants went through the heart of downtown, smashing property and businesses one by one. They came with all their riot gear and tools. They targeted a Catholic church for destruction. The National Guard were actually deployed for the first time this year in response to the mass violence tonight. And we had hoped that it was over. The law enforcement had dispersed them a couple of hours ago, but they have now regathered and are currently marching as I speak. See, this is the misperception that exists about Antifa, thinking that a Democrat administration will somehow make them content. No, if you immediately, last night, even when things were unknown in the election process, they put out all these statements about that's the system. It doesn't matter who wins because it's the same system. We're going to take to the streets. We're continuing the fight. And they've made themselves until their agenda is made such that it can never actually be achieved. They will always have something to fight for, right? If they fighting something as vague as a system or the U.S., they're not going to stop until they get a clear victory. So that's something that just gives them reason to riot regardless of who's in political power. That is the political monoculture of this part of the U.S., and it's the decent people here who have to live with the consequences of their neighbors and friends who vote this way.